Repulsing the monkey is an interesting gesture from the standpoint that, unlike most of the other gestures we've done so far, where we chamber towards an oncoming opponent, storing jing in our rear leg and advancing in the direction to offset their attack. Repulse the monkey, lifting hands, play guitar, white crane spreads wings from the short form, have a tendency to move towards the opponents, moving in their direction, capturing their hands, breaking their joints, or as in this case with Repulse the Monkey, we're going to reach out to engage their attack. So instead of coming from a back to a front situation, you're going to start in a front, store your jing here, and move to the rear. So it's kind of an interesting approach, and it would certainly throw an opponent off guard, because most of them would expect that when they come to attack, you're going to back away. And in this particular case, you're actually going to go and engage them, meet them halfway, and then take them into your wheelhouse and into your power and destroy them at that point in time. So what I'd like to do is I want to take the gesture and break it down. First we're going to look at the footwork, and then we'll isolate the hands, and then we'll put the whole thing together. I tend to always like to do with footwork first, because without a strong base and a proper base, then the upper part of the body has no benefit whatsoever. So looking at this from just the feet perspective, I'm going to face in the direction of the common execution of the form, and we'll look at just how the feet are going to work in this. We would have finished with fist under elbow, so I would be in a cat stance and ended up in this particular position. So forgetting about the hands and just concentrating on the feet, it's going to happen like this. I'm in a cat stance. My center line is a little bit off to this corner. And we're basically going to establish our feet facing the corners as we move rearward, because we always want to have this advantage of a cat stance. It's strongest when your foot's at an angle. So from that perspective, we're going to step back like this. I'm going to drag this into a center step. Then I'm going to open my hips. So again, using my center, your center is always leading your movements. I'm going to use my center to push this foot behind me and have my toes touch and my heel up. From here, all I'm going to simply do is just sit back, and once I make 50-50, I'm going to continue to shift back to this leg, but I'm going to make an adjustment to the front foot because I want it straight ahead in case I need to kick with it. So once I'm at 50-50, I'm going to continue pulling my center, which is going to pull my heel and straighten this foot out. Then I'm going to drag this back and repeat the process. Now, the reason I want to have this foot forward is in case I need to use it to make a kick. So starting out from the very first position, without the hands, we're going to go to a center step. My left foot straight ahead. Center step. Open the center. Open your hips. Step straight behind you. Put your 5 toes down. Feel your pinky touching the floor and point your toes to the corner. So now when you sit straight back, your heel will touch and your root. I'm 50-50, so I'm going to continue to turn slightly and straighten out this foot. Be careful, do not over-rotate it. You want to stop when your foot's straight ahead. So we'll drag this back, still keeping it straight ahead. Open your hips, step behind, 5 toes down, root in the back foot, anchor that bubbling well, keep turning your center to pull your left foot. Drag it straight back, open your hips, step behind you, put the heel down, and pull the heel. So we're not going to push the toes, we're always going to pull the heel. So if I do this a little quicker, you can kind of see how it flows really nice. And open, step, root, adjust, drag back. Open, step, root, adjust, drag back. Open, step, root, adjust, retract, open, step, root, adjust, retract. Now the footwork for the Repulse the Monkey in this one is a little bit different than the short form. In the short form, we're coming from a different place where we actually step to a corner. And that's a little bit of a different relationship with how the attack is coming. I need to have this foot planted so that I can go through a subtle exchange to line up with my opponent. I only bring that up for a second because we are starting to see that there are some differences between the long form and the short form. The beauty of it is that either methodology, either variation of Repulse the Monkey or any of the others will work. We just kind of need to break them down to see how they're working. So there's no conflict between the long form execution and the short form. The only conflict that you have to deal with is in your mind. You have to sort of think about what form that you're in. So if you're in the long form, remember you're wearing a long form hat and you're going to execute your steps this way. Because the long form has a nice transitions and they're more smooth than the short form, you really do want to make sure that that's how you're experiencing that one when you're doing your work. All right, so now what I'd like to do is do a little bit of a close-up on the feet so you can see what's happening there from a few different angles, and then we'll talk about just the hands. Okay, so starting from the cat stance at the end of fist under elbow, we're going to focus our attention on just the footwork. So I'm going to use pretty much the same words. So you're going to retract the front foot, keep it straight ahead. Turn the hips, use the turn, use the center to push your left foot behind you in my case. Toes are going to go down, so I'm going to feel all 5 toes down. And it's not a deep step, I'm not going really far back, just a short step. I'm going to shift, start to put the heel down, root through my bubbling well, pull the left heel, so you're going to pivot on the right foot, and stop when your foot's straight ahead. Do not over-rotate. Stop when it's straight. Again, this would be a defense potential. Drag the foot straight back, and let's go for another one. Turn the hips, step straight behind, get your 5 toes pointing towards the right corner in this case. Sit back, root through the bubbling well, use the center to adjust the front foot, and then retract. So open, step, sit back and root, adjust the front foot, retract it, open, step behind, put the heel down, adjust the front foot, and retract. Keep it straight ahead. Let's take a look at it going from the side. Okay, I'm in the cat stance position, and retract, open the hip, step behind. Again, notice that I'm not stepping really far behind. I'm stepping just a very short distance, maybe a foot if that. Roll back, put your heel down, use your center to straighten out the right foot, and when it's aligned, pull it straight back. Okay, open the hip to the right in this case, step back, heel down, adjust the front foot, retract, open, step, root, adjust, retract, open, step, root, adjust, and retract. And taking a look at the footwork close up from the rear. So I'm at the end of fist under elbow. I'm going to pull the left foot back, open my hip, step behind, 5 toes down. I try to feel everything down to the pinky. Sit back, root that left foot, straighten the right foot by pulling the heel, retract, keep it straight ahead. Open your stance, open your hips, step straight behind. Sit back in your heel. When you're 50-50, keep turning your hips to the right. Keep turning them to pull the left heel and straighten it. In case you need to kick, retract, turn, step back, heel down, keep turning, pull the right heel, retract the foot, open the hip, step behind, heel down, pull the front foot heel, and finish with the center step. cat stance, left foot straight ahead. Okay, so let's take a look at the hands now. I'm going to just stand in Wu Chi as opposed to a cat stance, because if I take a cat stance, I'm going to feel tension on one side and not the other. So just to do this work, we'll stand in Wu Chi and we'll be able to twist our hips in both directions and feel that connection. So I'm going to start off with my left hand up, and again this is about solar plexus high. You can go up to your shoulder, anywhere between here in this range is fine. This hand is going to be relaxed near my ear. Again, as with brush knee push and others, let me encourage you to try not to get into this habit. This is a push. Actually, it's not a push, it's a strike that comes out in the actual martial application, but for the purposes of reduction of muscular participation, we're going to stay relaxed. All right, so from here, my center line's over in this corner, just as a starting point. I'm simply going to turn and push my right hand right over my left hand. Now, in my early stages of doing Tai Chi, I used to imagine I had like a little ball in my hand. So I'm going to push this ball off. But the thing is that you're rotating on your vertebrae, so that's your axis, and you're going to try to rotate your hands at the same time. So your center is pushing one hand, and this same single gear is pulling the other. So whatever side I'm on, my center gear pushes one hand, and my center gear pulls the other. So they're going to pass each other at the same time because of the single gear notion. So as I push my center, imagine that you're got something in your hand, an object, and you're going to push it right over. Now, I'm doing this to sort of emphasize the idea of being straight over my hand, but I'm going to stay in a relaxed wrist state. So I'm going to turn, let the right hand float over the left. Later on, you'll feel something here. Keep turning. Now, my left hand is going to drop down and cut in front of my dantian. I'm going to reach behind me, palm up. Now, this is when I'm going to coordinate my hands at the same time. So as this one comes over to my ear, this guy's going to turn up, but you're going to do these at the same time. So we're going to turn at the same time, and I'm already starting to turn to the right. Left hand will pass over. Once I pass over, my lower hand's going to get down close to my dantian, reach behind, and then rotate both wrists at the same time. Well, actually, rotate this wrist and fold at the elbow on this one. Turn the other way. So the right hand goes straight over the left, drop it down by my center, reach behind, and move both of these at the same time. Push and pull. So I'm pushing the left hand, I'm pulling the right, cut through my center, and turn them at the same time. One more time. Push, pull. Push left, pull right, and set up your next one. This would be chambering, if you will. I would have an opponent's arm, and I would be pulling them in my direction, and then I can pretty much break their jaw, which is kind of cool. When you pull them and this hand goes down, it's going to bring them forward, so you're going to have a really easy target right in front of you. If you have to hit them on the nose, if you're defending your life, then you probably want to break their jawbone or whatever. Okay, so that's it as far as the handwork goes. Well, I take that back. Let me also do it from the front, just so you can see the relationship between my center line and my hands. So still holding Wu Chi. My left hand is straight in front of me. So I'm going to turn my center. Right hand will float over the left, directly over it, right in the middle, right in the middle. Then my left hand will drop down. My left hand will drop down. And here's where I turn my front wrist and bring my left hand over at the same time. Sometimes I used to practice just doing this, just to get a sense of how do I connect these, because we're going to move two hands and a foot here pretty soon. So I want to make sure that these things are working at the same time. That's also helpful in trying to adhere to principle number 9, where we flow like a river and there's no breaks whatsoever. Everything is continuous and unbroken. So just a couple more times. I'm going to push and pull, stay relaxed in this hand, cut through my dantian, and now move both at the same time. Turn, push and pull, cut through the dantian, reach behind, chamber. Push, pull, reach behind, chamber, push and pull, cut through the center, reach behind, and chamber. Very good. Okay, so let's take a look at putting all that together. So we're going to start with the fist under elbow in the common direction of the form. From here, to start this whole process, you're going to turn your center and open your hand. So if I look at you from the front for a second, I initiate this by turning my center, which rotates this hand. Okay, again, you're always corkscrewing your chi. So we're going to turn the center to open this hand, and then we're going to cut through our dantian. All right, I'll face the camera shortly, but for now we'll do it in the direction of the form just to get this into our awareness. All right, turn the center, open the fist, rotate the hand palm up, drop it down in front of your dantian, reach behind. Now this is where three things move at the same time. You're going to pull the left foot straight back, turn the left palm up, and pull it back a little bit. Again, you're reaching out and you're pulling in. So this sort of represents pulling. I would actually pull this person stronger, but for the form, we're just going to pull it in a little bit. So taking it from here, I'm going to turn my center, open my fist, reach behind, all my weight to my right leg. Now I'm going to set this up, bring my left foot back. Now, I tend to call this chamber when we're practicing it in class because it seems like a good checkpoint, but this is not what the true chamber would be. The true chamber would be at this point. I'm going to open my hips and I'm going to step behind. This would be a chamber position because now I've stored all my jing in my right leg and I'm going to sit back and push and pull. So in reality, when I say chamber, this is what true chamber would be. I say chamber here only because it seems like a logical break point. But I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the proper connections and sync up the word with the actual movement. So here we go. So I'm in reverse chamber, if you will. And sit back, push, pull, turn your center, straighten out the right foot. When I'm right about here, this is when my foot is straight. Because when I reach behind me, I'm going to drag this right foot back and time it so that I'm in my center step right here. I'm going to open, I'm going to reverse chamber, I'm going to put the heel down, I shift to the right. As soon as my heel and the right foot touches, I'm 50-50. I'm going to use that 50-50 as a clue to pull my left heel. So my next checkpoint would be here right in front of my dantian. I'm going to use my right hand to pull this left foot back, timing it so that when my foot is in a center step, I'm in this position here. Open my hip, step behind, root back in that left heel. As soon as that heel touches, I'm 50-50. Start to straighten out the front foot. Now I'm in this position here. My hand is by my center. I can continue to pull my right foot back now with my left hand. I'm not all the way back, I'm halfway back. And then I'm going to hit my center step and do this. All right, let me go through that process again. Then I'll face the camera. So I start with fist under elbow, dead front leg, nothing in it, posted in my right. From here, turn the center, open the fist hand, cut through your dantian, reach behind. Now as you reach behind, start to pull your left foot. Then center step. Open the hip, chamber, right? We're going to chamber back here. Push and pull, 50-50. As soon as your heel hits 50-50, that's when you start to fix your front foot. Cut through your dantian. Retract the foot by pulling this hand back. This hand's going to pull the foot. And then when I collapse this hand, my foot finishes here. So this hand pulls the foot part way, and then the collapsing of it pulls it all the way. All right, open the hip, step behind, relax the wrist, root the back foot. As you shift, push and pull straight over your hand. 50-50, straighten the front foot, cut through the dantian, drag the front foot back as you reach behind. Finish dragging the foot to a center step, turn the hands over. Open, step behind, root, 50-50, adjust, retract, center step. And open, cut center, reach behind, center step. Open, step behind, heel down, adjust the front, retract halfway, center step, put it all together. Open, step, heel down, adjust front foot, cut through the dantian, retract the front foot, center step, open, reach behind, heel down, push and pull, straight over your hand, straighten the front foot. You'll get good and aware of when you're going to do that funky footwork. All right, I'm going to do this one last time, coming from the camera this way, and then I'll do it with the back to the camera so you can see it from a couple different angles. So I'm going to start close up. You're not going to be able to see my feet. Starting with fist under elbow. Again, your fist is behind here. All right. And turn the center to open. Reach back. Center step. Open the hip, step behind you. Root the heel, 50-50, adjust the front foot, cut through the dantian, reach back, start to retract the front foot, turn the hands over and finish retracting to a center step. Starts the next sequence. Open, heel down, 50-50, adjust front, cut through the center, retract, set this up, open, reverse chamber, root the heel, adjust the front, cut through the dantian, retract the front foot, turn everything over, open, step behind, root the heel, straighten the front foot, cut through the center, reach behind, coming towards the camera from the rear. We're in a cat stance and fist under elbow. Turn the center to open the hand, cut through the center, reach behind, bring it all in together, center step, open, step, push, pull, open, step, root the heel, 50-50, straighten the front foot, pass over your hands, cut through the center, reach behind, retract the foot, center step, open, advance, or actually retreat, pull, retract, line everything up, open, step, heel down, push, pull, cut through the dantian, reach behind, retract the foot, center step. So there's one thing left that we have to do in order for us to execute this gesture following principle number 9. All of the steps that I called out previously were to give us checkpoints. The main one that we're going to have to figure out is how to eliminate the center step. We're going to still have to use the hips to push the foot behind. We're going to push and pull, straighten out the front foot, but instead of coming back to a center step, we're going to start the next sequence by turning our hips and stepping behind. So we can comply with that principle number 9 of flowing like a river where there are no breaks. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Starting off with our fist under elbow, turn the center, cut through the dantian, bring everything back, but don't stop. Open your hip and take your step. Push, pull, align the front foot, use the left hand to bring the right foot back. Start to form your gesture, but turn your hips just before you start the next one and pass through. So we're going to call that a pass-through step. Retract the foot, turn the hips, don't stop, push, pull, align the front foot. I'm going to end with the holding ball because that's how we finish that set. They count the 3 steps as one count or one gesture. Not sure why, because brush knee push we did earlier in the form where we had 1 brush knee, a play guitar, 3 brush knees, a play guitar and another brush knee. We counted those 3 actually as individual gestures. Somehow, and I don't know why, they packaged these 3 steps as one count. So for whatever it's worth, that's how we're going to do it. So starting with fist under elbow, one more time, cut through the dantian, reach back, bring this all together, turn the hip, don't stop. We're not going to actually do a center step. We're just going to come close to it. Move all these things at the same time, open your hip, and take your next step. Pull the heel, cut through the middle, retract the foot, and open the hip. Don't put the foot down until it's behind you. And we'll finish with hold ball. So my left foot's in the corner, the right foot straight ahead, and I'm ready to do my next gesture, which is called slant flying.